Hi everyone, David here. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for coming back for another video, or welcome if it's your first one. Are you doing okay? I think I'm doing okay. It's kind of a damp Monday afternoon in Osaka. It was quite warm last week, but now it's suddenly cold again, so I don't know. I guess spring is on the way. But I thought I'd stay inside today and do one of my presentation videos, like I've done recently. I wanted to talk about music today. Now, it's kind of a thorny subject for internet videos because people always have their opinions, which is fine. Like, everyone has different musical tastes. This is mine today, so if you don't like it, then that's fine. Don't have to come for me in the comments. But that's a bit defensive way to start, isn't it? But when I wanted to explore Japanese music, it's quite daunting really, because there's like a broad range of types of music and some things that we don't really have in England either. So I wanted to kind of give you a little way in to like where to start with some of the artists that I want to recommend. So I'm making playlists for all of these artists. I think I might put them all in one playlist so you can find them all. If you can look on the playlist option somewhere on YouTube for this channel, you can find them. So I want to introduce 5 artists today, five musical acts. Some of them I've talked about before, probably all of them I've talked about before, but they're the ones I think might be probably the most accessible and interesting for people outside Japan, because different genres in Japan might be a bit kind of surprising for other people. I think I will make a video about that one day as well, kind of only in Japan kind of artists. So that's for another day. But my brain wants an easy ride today, so we're going to introduce 5 artists. I hope this is interesting. If you have any questions about them, leave them in the comments. But as always, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share this channel with any musical fans that you know, not fans of musicals, but fans of foreign music. They might enjoy some of these artists. And also, yeah, like I said, leave a comment. That would help me a lot. Helps me on the algorithm, and I'm still trying to get this channel off the ground, so it's going quite well at the moment, but I'm still pushing. And I know I've been making a lot of tourist information videos at the moment. I kind of keep wanting to do that even more, because I want to help people visiting Osaka. That's the whole point of this channel, is to introduce Osaka. So please bear with me if you're not interested in those. I will try and mix them in with all the other stuff, so yeah, please bear with me. I'm trying my best. Okay, so let's get started. I've got my little PowerPoint thing set up. I've got my mouth tracking thing going on here. So if the camera moves a lot weirdly, then that's because of the camera. So let's take a look at my first artist I want to introduce, which is Hoshino Gen. I've probably mentioned him before on the channel before, but he is probably about the same age as me, and he makes kind of jazzy pop songs. Now, for me, if I hear the word jazz, I get a bit turned off, because I'm not really into jazz, and I have the image of kind of freestyle jazz music, which doesn't really do anything for me personally. But let's say Hoshino Gen is more like the heir to city pop artists. So there's that kind of city pop feeling about a lot of his music. Sort of laid back and jazz hints, but there's a lot of pop in there too. He's a very successful performer and actor as well. He has starred in a lot of dramas. I always see him popping up on Netflix in a new drama. Recently I watched The Full-Time Wife Escapist. If you haven't watched a lot of Japanese dramas, the names are a little bit insane, so but it's really nice. It's very kind of gentle family viewing, so please check that out on Netflix if you can. So I wanted to introduce the artists like generally, and then give you 5 recommendations for their songs. And again, I'm not trying to make the best 5 songs, because that's very subjective. Not even necessarily my 5 favorite, but I think they're kind of representative of the different stages of their career. So I want to start off kind of chronologically. So my first recommendation is called Tokyo. This is from not his first album, but one of his early albums, Yellow Dancer. It's got a very cute video too, where he's working in the subway, so check that out on YouTube. Although it's quite annoying, the YouTube videos have a long intermission in the middle where he's advertising something. I guess it's so you don't copy their music off the internet. So check out Tokyo. Koi is probably one of his most famous songs. This was actually the theme to that full full-time wife escapist. I keep wanting to say Full Metal Alchemist, but that's a totally different anime. That was the theme song to that, and it has a little koi dance routine for it as well. You can see that at the end of the drama. Yeah, this was a huge hit about 5 years ago, 5-6 years ago. So definitely check that out. Family Song is one of his more laid-back ones. Those first two are quite sort of up-tempo. Family Song is a bit more of a relaxed ballad. So if you're looking for that city pop stuff, then you can enjoy this gentle, not quite ballad, but gentle music with an interesting cross-gender music video. That's also from the Pop Virus album, those two. Japanese artists sometimes take quite a while to make an album, so you might get even 4 or 5 singles before the album pops up. So I think the gap between Koi being released and the album was probably about 2 years. So please be mindful of that. If you see a new single, it doesn't mean there's a new album on the way necessarily. I wanted to point out Lighthouse. This is in connection to another Netflix series called Lighthouse, where he teams up with a famous Osaka. Is he from Osaka? I don't know. A famous Japanese comedian, and they have a bit of not a talk show. They're talking about their lives and the problems people have in their lives and how to overcome them. It's kind of interesting. They've got subtitles too, so you can enjoy it. And Hoshino Gen makes a song for every episode. There's only, I think, 5 episodes. And Lighthouse is obviously the title track of that, and he's released them on an EP as well. So yeah, I enjoyed that one. That's a bit more of a, I don't know, introspective song compared to some of his more upbeat ones. And the last one, quite a recent one, last December I think he released Why. I don't know why it's called that, because the Japanese title is called Hikari no Ato, kind of traces of light. I think that's what it translates as. He's made a lot of anime theme songs, especially for Spy Family. Spy Family is a famous anime series at the moment. Definitely check that out if you can. But they released a movie at the end of 2023. So this is the ending theme, I think, for Spy Family Code White. So that's Hoshino Gen. Definitely check him out, especially if you're looking for something a bit easier to listen to. So let's move on to our next one. Now, of course, I've talked about Perfume so many times. I've been to their concerts a lot in England and in Japan. I've made videos about them too, so please check out those videos. So what more can I say about them? That's a 3-piece girl group from Hiroshima, and they've been running for over 15 years now. I think they're in their sort of early 30s, so they debuted a long time ago. But they're one of the first Japanese music acts I really got into before I moved here. So definitely check out Perfume. They're more focused towards like electro pop music. Very accessible though, it's not too out there. And they've got a kind of superstar producer who has his own group, his own kind of music act called Capsule. I'm gonna forget his name now. Yasutaka Nakata, I think his name is. I'm going to put a correction here because I'm inevitably going to be wrong. But of course, get into Perfume. There's a whole playlist of Perfume songs on my channel, so look out for that too. But I always recommend Electro World. This is from before their major label debut. So it seems strange that their best CD has a lot of singles when they're quite an early act, but this was kind of encapsulating their pre-major debut career. So Electro World is really staple of their concerts. Edge is a nice cardio anthem if you're in the gym. They've got quite an incredible stage show for this one too. Also check out their Netflix available specials. I think there's one called Reframe, which it was okay, but I think was it Imaginary Time Machine Museum or something like that, Time Warp Imaginary Museum. Definitely check out that, because that includes some of these big bangers as well, so look out for Edge. I have to include Spring of Life. That's the first song I got into by Perfume. I saw the music video when I was flying back from Japan on the little in-flight entertainment and kind of got intrigued by that. Future pop. I think it's important to stress that Perfume don't always have up-tempo electro bangers. Future pop is a bit more laid back, and I think that's the direction they're kind of moving in. They've still got the electro songs, but future pop is showing a nice different side to them, I guess, or a side that we don't often associate with them. And I love the video as well. They've never looked more kind of pretty and having a lot of fun, so definitely check out that. And of course I have to talk about Time Warp. I really enjoyed that from the last Plasma album. Yeah, just infectious, fun pop music, easy to enjoy. Nice video to watch as well. So yeah, I could talk forever about Perfume. So if you want me to talk more about it, please check out my other video about the joy of Perfume. So I'll move on. Next one I haven't really talked about much is Fujii Kaze, who comes from Okayama Prefecture, I believe. He is, I mean, Hoshino Gen and Perfume have quite established careers. They've been going for more than 10 years. Fujii Kaze is kind of on the up and up now. I think he's on the verge of a huge breakthrough. He's already breaking through, and he's even breaking through overseas. I read somewhere that he's the first Asian act to debut on all of the Spotify regional charts in the world at the same time, with one of his songs. I forgot which song, sorry. But he really marches to the beat of his own drum. He's a really interesting artist. I'm curious to see where he develops. I want to recommend Shinu no ga Iwa, which is from his first album. I don't think this was an especially big hit at the time, but due to it being used a lot on TikTok and things like that, it kind of had a second life, I think. So that's kind of one of his famous songs overseas now too, and quite interesting to perform as well. If you, again, on Netflix, you can see his one of his tour specials from the Panasonic Stadium in Suita, that's in Osaka. Definitely check that out, because this was a really good performance of that. Kidari was his real breakthrough single. That was probably his most pop song single, so yeah, check that out if that's your first entry. He hasn't had a hit bigger than that yet, I don't think, but that was kind of all full force pop star Fujii Kaze. From the same album, Damn, which I really like. I've recently had a bit of a second wind with the song too. It's got kind of all the elements of his appeal. It's got his kind of slightly odd sense of humor. It's got his, I don't know, a little bit old-fashioned but kind of band-driven music style. It's hard to pin him down to a particular genre, because he makes pop songs, but he makes kind of more relaxed jazzy songs like Hoshino Gen. He makes more melodic pop music, which he plays the piano really well too, so that helps with that. He's kind of all over the place really with his music, so I recommend exploring some of his, especially these ones. And Damn especially has an interesting video, and it was kind of a nice video too, because it sums up his story so far really. It's got kind of aspects of all of his videos and even one of his big performances. He was supposed to have a big performance in the new Nissan Stadium I think it's in Saitama, but because of COVID it all got cancelled. So he was just right in the middle of this football stadium, I think it's a football stadium, with his piano, no audience at all, and it was just streamed live on YouTube. So you can probably find that too now, but that sort of shows his performance credentials. He's got a few recent singles too. Working Hard was released last year. If you watch this, make sure I'm not going crazy. Does this not sound a bit like Rock the Boat by Aaliyah? Because something about that chorus just really reminds me of that. But again, a bit more of a down-tempo one. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a music critic. It's hard for me to explain, but check that out. And his most recent single, Hana, is doing quite well. It's the theme tune to a drama at the moment, I believe. Something about a flower shop. Hana means flower. And that's got that real kind of, I don't know, up-tempo positive feeling to his music. He's very kind of free-spirited as well. He often talks on social media, and he's very much about freedom and enjoying your life and not worrying too much about what you're supposed to be like. So I don't know, it's kind of refreshing change for a pop star, which is very kind of media managed. So yeah, I'm expecting big things from Fujii Kaze, especially this year. I think we're 4 singles in without an album yet, so I'm expecting one to drop this year. So yeah, keep your eyes on him. Okay, next one. Yonezu Kenshi, again a bit of a cliche choice, but I think he's in the same way Fujii Kaze is kind of all over the map musically. Yonezu Kenshi is really going for it, and he's going full power at the moment. He's probably at the top of his game. He's one of the probably most famous Japanese singer-songwriters of the current generation at the moment. I think that would be fair to say. He is also from well, he's not from Kansai, he's from Tokushima Prefecture. And he made his kind of debut as a Vocaloid singer or Vocaloid writer. Vocaloid is when a computer, the vocal is completely computer generated. So someone's actually making the music, but it's not like an AI thing. But things like Hatsune Miku, for example, that's a famous Vocaloid act. So someone's writing the music and then this computer program is singing it, and they've got like digital avatars. But he crossed over into the main artist debut, and he's getting bigger and bigger every time. He's often called on for soundtracks as well, especially recently. So let's introduce one of his earlier songs from Yankee. I think that's his second major album as himself. That's got a nice kind of, I don't know, nice relaxed vibe to it, and the video is quite nice too. It's very artistically made. Definitely check out Eine Kleine. But then we really start getting into the hits with Loser. Loser shows his other side, the more kind of up-tempo rapping, hip-hop influenced. I don't know if that's fair to say, but definitely a big contrast to some of his more laid-back stuff. He, like I said, he's hard to pin down, I think. So check out Loser, especially for the video. Then I've got to talk about Lemon. Lemon was his huge breakthrough single. I think it was probably the biggest selling single of the year. So yeah, if you've heard of any Yonezu Kenshi songs, it's probably going to be that one. That took a while to be put on an album, so that came onto the 2020 album Stray Sheep. But I remember hearing that in 2018 or 2017, I think. So definitely check out Lemon. That's more of your typical pop song, kind of pop. I don't want to say ballad really, because it's not like it's a sad song especially. It's just easy to listen to. There's a weird noise in my apartment there. Moving on a bit, we've got Spirits of the Sea. This was a movie soundtrack one again, but this kind of displays his artistic side a bit more. The video is incredible as well. It's taken from parts of the film. The film was a bit weird actually. I didn't really enjoy it that much, but definitely check that one out too. I don't know, it's got something about his, what's the word? The arrangements, the musical arrangements of his songs sometimes really kind of hit you somewhere. I don't really know why I'm feeling something, but it's happening. It's very kind of, I don't know. I just wanted to give it a try. Maybe it's connected to how I was feeling when I heard the songs and things like that. But he's got very impactful melodies, and it's not even just melody driven. He's just something about his unusual musical arrangements that really gets me sometimes. Speaking of which, there's a fairly recent single to M87, which was made for the Shin Ultraman film, which was not a bad film either. That's, I don't know, something about the arrangement of that too. It's got some kind of melancholy feel about it. And he's a bit of a musical chameleon when it comes to soundtracking, because he can do kind of anime movies, he can do this kind of action movie. Can you call Ultraman an action movie? I guess so. He's done the Final Fantasy 16 soundtrack too, Moon Gazing. He's kind of all over the place, so you never know what you're going to get from Yonezu Kenshi. And then you've got things like Pop Song, which is called Pop Song, which was made for some PlayStation 5 commercial, so check that out. That's another completely wacky, out there song. So yeah, check out Yonezu Kenshi for sure. He's definitely another one to watch. I'm really excited to see what his next album's going to be like. So yeah, let's see. Okay, final one. If you've ever listened to J-pop, then you've probably heard of this name, Utada Hikaru. She is one of the famous major artists of well, the last 20 years, 25 years. I'm using the word she came out as non-binary a few years ago, and She uses both pronouns, so she uses she, her, and they, them. So hopefully I'm on safe ground with this one. But Utada is, yeah, she's kind of a legendary figure in J-pop. She debuted in the late 90s along with a few other major artists. And although she sort of had a bit of a quiet patch for a while, she's kind of back on her game, and she's getting critical acclaim overseas as well. You've probably heard her if you've ever played Kingdom Hearts, for example. She's done the soundtracks to all of those. If you've ever watched a Neon Genesis Evangelion movie, she's done the soundtracks for those too. So she's got these kind of associations in pop culture in Japan. As for my recommendations, Can You Keep a Secret? That's one of her famous early songs from her second album, I think, Distance. She speaks English fluently, so but most of her early songs are in Japanese. But there's, as usual, there's English phrases here and there. But her early albums tended to be a bit more focused on that kind of pop R&B sound of the kind of turn of the century. So if you ever listen to kind of American music, even from that period, this will feel quite familiar R&B feeling to it. After that, Traveling. This is veering more into the kind of dance pop music. So this has got a real kind of electronic beat to it. It's one of my favourites, definitely. This is from Deep River. This was when she was really hitting her commercial peak. I think she's got 2 or 3 albums in the top 10 all-time sales in Japan. So Traveling is one of the best representatives of that. I don't always go for the older albums with her because, I mean, I didn't grow up with them or anything like that, and that type of music has not always been my favourite, but maybe that's something I'm getting in time. Now this might be a bit of a left field choice, but I chose You Make Me Wanna Be a Man from Exodus. This is one of her 2 English albums, and this was, I think, the only single she's ever released in the UK, so I was very excited to see that coming, but unfortunately it didn't really break through. Yeah, it's an English album. It's quite experimental compared to her other ones. She collaborated with some very kind of arty music acts from the West. Definitely check out Exodus. The second English album, This Is the One, I think it's called. That's fine. It felt a little bit generic compared to the highs and lows of Exodus, so I want to recommend that to you. Keep Trying was her going back to the Japanese bass. Again, this is kind of, I don't want to say post-peak, she was still a major artist, but Ultra Blue was, yeah, that really hit me at the right time because that was definitely the kind of music I was into, and it just kind of felt like destiny at that time. And the, what was the Utada United tour that went along with this was amazing too, so if you can check that out online, I recommend it. Keep Trying is a very kind of chilled out but very poppy song as well, so I recommend that. And finally, One Last Kiss. Like I said, if you've watched any of the Evangelion movies, this was the last theme of the final movie, I think, and it's all in English too. She's kind of included this into the Bad Mode recent album, which is kind of a mix of Japanese and English, so she's kind of melding these 2 words. I don't know if she's still living in the UK. She was for a while, definitely. And in fact, I think you can see Brighton in the music video for One Last Kiss. This was kind of my like Corona anthem. I don't know if it's like Stockholm syndrome, but I get a bit of nostalgia for the Corona time when we just kind of huddled in our rooms and relying on YouTube. So definitely check out One Last Kiss. That album, Bad Mode, has been really critically acclaimed, and I think expect big things from the next debut. This is good timing actually. I think at some point in March or April she's releasing her greatest hits album. They've had singles collections before, but this is her first kind of curated career complete retrospective. So that is called Science Fiction. That's coming out soon, so definitely check that out. I'm sure that will be on streaming services soon. And she's got a new single with it, which I haven't heard yet, but definitely check out Utada Hikaru. She's amazing, and I kind of felt like she was on the way into kind of just semi-retirement, but now she's like stronger than ever. I think she might not be selling as many albums, but nobody is these days. I love her, so I hope I can get to see her. She's doing a tour this year as well, so I'm going to try and get tickets for that if I can. But I'm sure they'll be hotly contested. So there we go. That's all my 5 recommendations. Hope that didn't take too long. Thank you for watching. I hope if you've got any questions about these artists, please let me know. If you want to see the songs I've recommended, they're all in playlists. I think most of them will probably be on Spotify as well. And that's it really. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please like it anyway, because I'm a nice person. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment, even just saying what you thought about these artists. Can you recommend any to me? I'd enjoy that. And what else? I want to share this video with anyone who sounds even slightly interested in Japan or music. That'll help me a lot too. So thank you for watching. Take care. I hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.